What's up, guys? Today I'm going to be going over the Prometheus Lens. I want to go over a few of the exotic trace rifles that are just really good right now because of all the artifact mods, and this will be the first one I wanted to break down because it is just kind of a beast and a walking nuke with everything you can do to buff this weapon right now. So starting off with the Prometheus Lens, it's been quite a while. We got an exotic perk, fires a solar trace beam that creates a field of heat energy that grows as the weapon is fired. Sustained damage applies scorch to the target. Then we have Flame Refraction, where kills with this weapon return a fraction of the ammo used to the magazine from reserves, extending the beam's duration. And finally, the catalyst is incandescent, and these clips will be with Ember of Ashes on Solar. So we look at how this works in the game on Carl. After hitting him for like just 5-10 ammo, it'll apply Scorch, and it's going to take for 440, then go down, and finally dissipate. But then as you hold down the trigger, the beam will get wider, you apply more stacks of Scorch, and eventually they will explode with the ignition. It's going to be roughly 1 ignition per entire mag with 100 ammo. And this weapon also with the catalyst applies Scorch on kill with incandescent. So there's going to be all kinds of ways to apply Scorch, build up Scorch stacks, and cause ignitions with the Prometheus Lens. Then as you're using it, it will constantly reload the ammo from reserves with the final blows. So the point is just kind of hold down the trigger and make things explode. So looking at all the things we can do to make this better, starting off we have Harsh Refraction in the artifact, which will work really easily with this weapon because the weapon itself applies Scorch, that obviously is a solar buff, which will then increase the damage of the Prometheus Lens itself by 35%. So pretty good. Then we have the exotic on Warlock Dawn Chorus. This is going to do a lot of things for us. Firstly, your Scorch is improved. So looking at what that means, it means your Scorch is going to do 3x damage, a 200% increase. And this does not mean you apply more stacks of Scorch, just that the Scorch itself does more damage. So obviously it has to be great with all the different ways to apply Scorch with this weapon on a single target, on final blow with incandescent, and just like before, roughly 1 ignition per full mag. Dawn Chorus will also greatly improve our Daybreak Super, which combined with Limit Break from the artifact, which is going to be a 30% increase while we're Radiant, Restoration, whatever it is. This super is really good now. It's always been really great with Dawn Chorus, and with just 30% more damage while Radiant, Restoration applied, all different things we'll have in this build. I mean, it really is a super that does a lot of total damage. Then also we have the other 2 trace artifact mods, Overload and Beam Medic. Open us out a little bit. And overall, we have a lot of ways to apply Scorch, but our ignitions take quite a while. But we can definitely improve that with first Hellion, and then our Snap or our melee of choice in the Solar subclass. And now, just with the benefit of the Hellion shooting along with our Prometheus Lens, we can now cause 3 ignitions per magazine, greatly increasing the amount of Scorch stacks and ignitions we're applying. And then our melee also will be enough Scorch to cause ignition, so that's going to be really handy to use on a single target, let's say champions, wherever it is, just to do a quick amount of damage. And both our class ability and melee will be getting back very quickly in this build. With Dawn Chorus, applying Scorch will give us melee energy. Then in our subclass, we can use Singeing to make it so we get class ability back when we also Scorch. If you're in a fire team setting, you could swap over to Benevolence to get all 3 of your abilities back from giving your allies Restoration or Radiant. And speaking of which, when we use our melee, we have Torches to become Radiant. And to keep Radiant going, we have Empyrean, so all of our solar weapon or ability final blows will constantly refresh the buff. And the final part of our subclass is going to be Torch of Flame for the buff grenades. And there's 2 different paths you can go. You can use Healing Grenade for Restoration ×2, what I prefer to use. I always love having some great source of healing. And once again, pairing that with Empyrean, just like Radiant, to keep refreshing it. You could also run whatever grenade you want, let's say Fusion, for another burst ability damage option. And just like our melee, obviously going to be a good chunk of damage and usually cause another ignition. And finally, to help get our super and our grenade back very fast, we have Elemental Siphon to create fire sprites. And when we pick those up, we'll get a chunk of our super. When this artifact mod is boosted, when you pick up fire sprites just in general, they give grenade energy. So what we can do is actually drop Singeing or Benevolence and use Mercy instead. Let's say when you're using a fusion grenade, not a healing grenade. And then with Mercy, when you pick up the fire sprites, you'll get Restoration. And this will only be ×1. And just like before with Empyrean, once you get more and more final blows, we can extend the timer and make it go up to like 13 seconds. And with that, while using fusion, you would still have a healing ability. So you can use healing grenade for harder content where you need restoration ×2, fusion grenade for stuff where restoration ×1 is more than enough. And our weapons don't really matter, I just change them around depending on what I'm doing. And then I like to use a special finisher along with a dreadful finisher from the artifact, along with a solar scavenger. And that way when you get a finisher, you get like 300 ammo back. So very easy to get back to full ammo with this weapon and spam it a lot. And finally, our mods, pretty straightforward. A lot of the melee stuff and the solar stuff, I'll go to link the build down below. And if you need to pause it, go ahead. But yeah, that is the entire build. It is really fun and very effective. It's one of the better, like, pure Aclear builds I've used in a while, just from your weapon, not really using any of your abilities. With all the ways to play the Scorch that does 3x damage from Incandescent with Final Blows, or just shooting at a single target, or the added sources of Hellion or your grenade or melee, you'll be surprised just how fast you can chew through things with this build. And then for single targets, the Prometheus Lens isn't like the craziest damage ever, but combined with Hellion or your melee, it's going to be more than enough. Then when you get up to a boss, I'm not saying like a raid boss, but just like a strike boss, activity boss, wherever it is, you have your Daybreak super that does a lot of total damage, and it should be more than enough to like phase the boss or even kill it. Really anything I've done. Yeah, it's kind of the best of everything. Great Aclear, great single target damage, great super, great survivability, constantly have Radiant, and overall you're just a walking nuke. So yeah, definitely give this build a try, and like I said, this will be probably the first of a few builds using some of the exotic trace rifles. Next one I want to look into is going to be Ehroar Scepter. I think that one has a lot of potential right now also, so definitely look forward to that. And yeah, like usual, thanks for watching. Catch you guys next time.